What's up, Juventini? Alberto here, and I've got all your Juventus news. Is Giuntoli about to pull off a masterclass for Samardzic? The numbers start to come out, and if this were true, this would make it even more of a no-brainer. We'll go through the details on that one. Mirko Di Natale and Nicola Schira weigh in on the potential Bernardeschi move. We'll take a look at those details after the meeting yesterday between player's agent and Giuntoli and Mana. News on Milan heading into the big match this Sunday, which also should be helping Juventus. And then Di Marzio gives us our first look, our very early projected lineup for that game. And Moggi weighs in on the Pogba and Fagioli cases. Is he right in what he says? We're going to tackle it together here, all right? So like the video, subscribe to the channel. Be sure to share the content if you enjoy it. This is the AJC. Let's rock. We're going to kick things off with the meeting yesterday between Bozzo, Bernardeschi's agent, and Giuntoli and Mana. Nicola Schira today reports that Juve's priority is without a doubt in the middle of the park. All right, Bernardeschi has been offered to them and presents a 6-month loan opportunity for Juventus, but their priority is the middle of the park. Mirko Di Natale says a move for Bernardeschi seems impossible. All right, so he doesn't really give details or shed light as to why he believes it's impossible. It could be his salary, and maybe Toronto FC is not willing to pick up a portion. But for me, this whole thing sounds like it's a plan B, potentially plan C for Bernardeschi because of his positional versatility and whatnot. But Juve's priority is without a doubt in the middle of the pitch, like Schira says. Okay, so I don't expect anything to come down with the Bernardeschi thing. All right, Spinazzola. Rumors were out there floating around, albeit from weak sources, linking Juventus to potentially bringing him in January. Didn't really make a whole lot of sense with how many guys we got on the roster at his particular spot. Spinazzola rumors put to rest today, saying no, he will not be joining Juventus in January. They actually expect him to go abroad, and there are rumors about Saudi Arabia right now. Samardzic. There are numbers floating around here from Tuttosport, and if this were the case, it makes it even more of a no-brainer. I've told all of you I am fully aboard the Samardzic train, all right, and bringing him in January. He makes the most sense for me. He is a realistic target for January in terms of being able to make the move. Financially, he makes sense. He's in form, and he is a creative midfielder, which we need desperately. He makes the most sense out of all the targets we have currently. Now, the reports surfacing today say Giuntoli could be aiming for a 5 million euro loan with a buyout price of 15 to 18 million euros. It comes from Tuttosport. The numbers could be out, and I expect them to be higher. But if this was the case, even if it's close to this, it's an absolute no-brainer for me. Okay, these are the type of deals I don't see us losing on. His salary, don't forget his salary, 425,000 euros. We could triple that and still be unfazed by his wages. This is a no-brainer. If we pulled it off at these numbers, that is a spectacular piece of business, but all eyes are going to be on Samardzic. Obviously, Højbjerg's name still lingers, and then two other names, and that's Sudakov and Berardi. And when I was asked a few days ago what I thought would happen, I said I expect one of Samardzic and Sudakov and potentially a forward, maybe Berardi. We will see what happens, but if these numbers are true, makes it even more of a no-brainer for Samardzic. Now, as far as our fitness, all eyes are on Federico Chiesa. He is still in doubt for the match against Milan. As for Milan themselves, they are going to be obviously without Mignan, who's suspended. Sportiello is injured, so they are going to be at third keeper Merante, all right? But hey, we know what happens with all keepers when they play Juventus. They turn into Superman, so I'm not going to take this match lightly whatsoever. Di Marzio brings us our very early projected lineup for this game, and it is as follows. Szczesny, we're going to have Gatti, Rugani, Bremer, Weah, McKennie, Locatelli, Rabiot with Kostic rounding out the midfield, and then Vlahovic and Keane up top. That's his early projected lineup for the game. I want to know your thoughts on it. What did I tell you? What I wanted to see was a change in how we use the midfield, but I said I fully expect Max to go with Weston McKennie. I do not like a midfield where McKennie and Rabiot are 2/3 of it, okay? But This is probably very, very close to what we were going to see. I would like to see a two-man pivot, a change up there, and utilize a player like maybe Yildiz. I wouldn't mind seeing Yildiz up top there with another one of the strikers, but we will see Vlahovic and Keane. That's a pairing I can take. I don't like Keane and Milik, but hey, we're going to have questions, and maybe we get something different by the time the match comes around. Still, fingers crossed, Chiesa can go, because I think we are absolutely going to need him against Milan on Sunday. Now, we're going to wrap things up with Moggi. Moggi, he had some interesting words about the Pogba and Fagioli case and whatnot, but mostly Fagioli, and he just says, he doesn't know. He says, I don't know how I would have handled the Fagioli and Pogba cases. But with me as manager, he says, this never would have happened. It's about the environment that they are in. So this is very, very interesting choice of words from Moggi. Number one, I don't think we can deny that the culture around the club, but not just the club, but football in general, is completely different from his time. All right. And we've heard players, we've heard Pirlo while he was coaching speak about it and how things are just different now. Back then, the players' brands were the clubs that they were a part of, but now they're running individual brands, and you have social media distractions all over the place, and it's completely different. So he's not wrong in saying the environment is different. Whether or not that's, an environment specifically to Juventus, well, I would think so too. And we have seen it be kind of chaotic for some time now. Dissension at the top with Agnelli, Nedved, and Paratici coming in, Marotta having to leave, a coaching carousel between Sarri, Pirlo, then going back to Allegri after Allegri was fired the first time. This is, it's been very, very chaotic around the club. So the environment, provides some lack of stability, so to speak. So he's not necessarily wrong. But to say it wouldn't happen with him is very difficult as well, because the times while he was managing were completely different. That's how I feel anyways. I kind of have mixed feelings. I kind of partially agree and partially disagree, but that's what the comment section is all about, because I can't wait to hear from you on all the news you heard, okay? Are you aboard the Samardzic train with me, all right? What do you think about that projected lineup, and what do you think about Moggi's words? Let me have it in the comment section. Can't wait to mix it up with you all. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please share the content. Until tomorrow's edition, as always, fino alla fine, forza Juve, ciao tutti.